So, or I'm sorry, we're going to talk about using the Pathfinder because when we finish with these ornaments, we want it to be able to cut around the perimeter, right? Anybody know the difference between area and perimeter? So now we are talking about math a little bit more.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between area and perimeter, Paulie?
Area is the entire area of what you're doing. So like all of the inside of, including all of the inside of it, and the perimeter is just outline.
Yes. So if we were to determine the area, now this one would be difficult because it's not like a square shape, but we would multiply length times width, right? So we would get square feet. We talk about perimeter, it's like walking around the edge of it, right? And that would be referred to in linear feet. All right, so, I mean, we don't really need, we're not calculating that for this, for what we're doing, but I think it is kind of good to talk about this so that we can use similar terminology and you kind of have some kind of relevance to maybe other concepts and things like that, right? So we're trying to make a perimeter line around this Xbox controller. We could use the pen tool, right? And go through there and, you know, use curved lines and things like that. Some of you may be good enough with the pen tool to be able to do that with your own shape. However, I feel that there's probably some that aren't, and or maybe you just want to do it quicker. So I'm going to show you, and if you guys and everybody can just watch me doing it the first time, all right, and then we'll do it together after that, all right? So I'm going to do this kind of in different phases. So this would be my original, all right? Then I'm going to go over here, and so we'll say this is the original raster image, right? Raster images are pixelated, right? And they are not scalable to maintain the same quality. So in order to turn them into vectors, what do we do? What do we do to turn this raster image into a vector? Think about your logos and when we did that for our animated logos. We image traced, all right? So I'm going to come over to my property inspector, my quick access or actions, and I'm going to use low fidelity photo, all right? Because I don't want my system to be bogged down by processing all these pixels. Because remember, Illustrator is mathematically calculating all of your pixels, all right? So it doesn't look quite the same, but it's all right. We're not going to be printing this final image. We're just going to be, actually, you know what, we probably would want to, because I'm thinking if we have this remote, we are going to want to have the image of it. So, but maybe I'll do a comparison. I'll see the difference so that I can recommend that or not. Because what happens when we laser it, if it's not vectorized, you'll get more of a dot pattern and it's not going to kind of look as good. But we'll go through the process at least to make the line and going at it in this way. All right. So this would be our image traced. So it's vectorized. Using image trace, all right? So kind of telling you the process there, all right? Then what I'm going to do is I'll make a copy of it again just for our different steps here. And maybe I'll start numbering these so that we know the order we're going in. So after we vectorize it, then we're going to expand it because I want to get rid of this white space around here. When it does image tracing, remember it's going to trace everything. So I then ungroup it, deselect, and now I can select the white areas. And now sometimes it's difficult to know if you erased everything. So the one thing we learned the other day also, if we go to view and show transparency grid, now we can see that we did remove, actually there's a little piece up here if I wanted to be really technical. All right, so now I removed all that white that's around there. All right, since I have this transparent background. All right, now I'm going to group it again. Oh, nope, I forgot one down here. So if I group this again, now all I'm going to do is place a box behind it. I'm going to pick something different. And then I'm going to send it behind it. All right, so what we're going to think of, this is all grouped, so it's one big object. Anybody ever use a cookie cutter to make like cookies, like a metal form, and you press it through the dough? Ocean, yeah? All right. All right, so we're going to think of this remote controller image as being a cookie cutter. We're going to push it through basically this pink box so that we can then find just the outline of that shape. So to do that, I'm going to select both. Now in my Pathfinder, this is a new palette or a new tool that we're looking at in Illustrator. I'll click here to get all of them, and I'm going to do divide. All right, so it didn't look like it did anything, but now if I ungroup it, look at this, I can pull it apart. So now basically it found that outline. Let's see if maybe I should step this out. So we'll just say, I know that's working here, so I'm going to label this. So this step is we are use Pathfinder divide. All right, so then now I'm left, oops, I'll just take it, with this shape. Kind of running out of room here. Maybe I'll scale this stuff down a little bit. See, this is what I'm talking about, bogging your system down. Now when I'm resizing this, since this has been image traced, it has to reprocess all that. So if we did high quality photo, it's most likely going to slow things down and even more. So we're going to take this, just trying to get this to fit. So we have that, and then from there, what would we do to get the shape of just the controller? All right, I guess this is maybe too much thought here. Right now I have, if I look at my fill and stroke, right, I have just a fill color. So if I say I want just a stroke, I'm going to reverse it. All right, and I'll step this out even one more time. So we have that one. I can use the direct selection tool, which we talked about before, and just get rid of the box. All right, so if I use the direct selection tool, now I can go to here, and boom, there I go. So there's just the outline of the controller, and now if I take, all right, so I'm grouped there. Let's see. I can regroup this. Control G will group, and then I'll make a copy of this down here. Put this back over to show that that fits there. All right, so now I would have my final shape, which follows the, I got to resize it a little bit because I was adjusting things, but this should fit right along there. All right, that doesn't exactly match. I could use that object path offset. The problem was I kept resizing to fit things. All right, but let's see. I'll get it right on the final one, all right? So I know I went step by step on there, all right? But hopefully you'll see that that is easier than using the pen tool. All right, so we'll go through it together now, and hopefully you guys can all do the same thing, all right? So Let me just finish adding my titles here. So this was the ungrouped and separated. This was switching, or we'll say stroke, but no fill. And this was use direct selection to remove outer box. And this was just lining up to original shape. All right. So let's do this together now. All right. So I'm going to start. So everybody should have in their document just the controller, right? All right. Anybody at home need me to wait?
Excuse me.
Yes.
I don't